Stand for the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, 3.0 is the approval of the meeting agenda, and it's just the three of us tonight, so.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the meeting agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, agenda is approved. All right, 4.0 is our acknowledgements and recognitions. Nothing official except for I'd just like to send a shout out to the class of 2026 who's graduating here soon. Congratulations to them. And we wish you all the best, and we'll see you this weekend for commencement. All right, 5.0 is our recognition of visitors and community comments. Welcome visitors. Thanks for being here with us for our May 2026 meeting. And our community comments section is an opportunity for the public to address the board on an item included in the agenda in accordance with the guidelines printed at the end of the agenda. We don't have any community comments scheduled for this evening, so we will go ahead and move to our reports. And 6.1 is our principal's report. Mr. Belangi, hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. All right.
So yeah, just a few days left, but a lot going on, and there's been a lot going on the last couple of weeks as well. On Monday, our Sawtooth students had their field day, so they spent the afternoon kind of all over the place. There was a disco light volleyball dance party. That's all one thing in the Sawtooth gym. That was one of the many stations that they got to kind of roll through. So a big shout out to Ms. Schultz and Ms. Sandstrom. They kind of led the planning and organizing of it, and then had a bunch of parent volunteers, staff out there, and the kids just had a blast. Obstacle courses, face painting. It was just a really good time. Our fourth graders right now are at North House this week, learning about the history of logging in this area while they're building their miniature bateau boats down at North House. So we're getting that in before the end of the year. Last week we had a great evening on Wednesday. We had our senior awards night where a total of 35 people and organizations handed out financial gifts to 29 of our seniors, totaling $383,445. Just truly remarkable and amazing. And it was just a great night to recognize all those kids, all the hard work they put in, and see the generosity from our community to support kids here. It's great. On Friday last week, our sixth graders participated in their firearms safety field day experience. That's their culminating experience from the sixth grade safety class. So over the course of the year, they've all, through the class, they're now eligible to get their ATV, snowmobile, watercraft, and firearms safety certificate all through the DNR if the family chooses to get that. So they're wrapping that up. High school students had a great time at prom, I think, last weekend. It was a good night. People were having a lot of fun. And that was Saturday night at Up Yonder. Tonight, so I invite you all after the board meeting. Won't be able to get out of it because it's happening right there in the lobby. Our 8th grade autobiography event is happening tonight, officially starting at 7 o'clock, but they're already getting started setting up. And tomorrow is the last day for our seniors. So we're going to have them in. Our culinary arts students are putting on a nice buffet breakfast for them in the cafeteria at 8:30. They'll clean up their lockers, last minute things. We're going to rehearse for commencement on Saturday. And then have a little event with the Sawtooth students in the ACA here before we let them get out and get ready for commencement. Seniors will get out at 11 o'clock tomorrow. And then next week, our 8th graders are ending their school year in the Boundary Waters. So they're going to take some school buses Tuesday morning, do a overnight, and be back by the end of the day on Wednesday next week. And also want to recognize a great evening last night up at Grand Portage for the awards banquet. We recognized 91 K-12 students from Sawtooth Mountain Elementary, Cook County Middle School, and Cook County High School. So another great event. And obviously Saturday commencement at 1 o'clock in the gym. Everybody's invited. Graduate parade is at 2:30. Right after the commencement ceremony, they'll kind of snake through town and end at Artist Point. We've got that parade route posted on our website and Facebook page. And then all of our students get to start summer at 3:15 on Wednesday, May 27th. Why are you smiling so? That's it.
So I noticed you still have a full
I do.
head of hair there. How close to?
I don't know. I didn't get an official number. What, did you?
I haven't gotten.
They said they didn't get there, so. Yep, it's not shaven this year, so maybe next year.
We're working for next.
They're already starting this summer, I guess, to raise it up for next year, so.
I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
You'll have to forgive me. My intention isn't to put you on the spot, but
Okay.
I've heard a little bit of a conversation swirling around the topic of yearbooks and how apparently it's sort of spotty whether we end up having a yearbook or not for like the high school. And maybe we don't have a high school yearbook this year.
There was a senior yearbook this year.
Yeah. And so there's sort of, and I'm just trying to understand kind of like what that looks like, you know, in terms of like decision-making process and like what are the roadblocks to like ensuring that it happens.
Sure.
And those kinds of things. And is there anything that we as a board can do to support that, or like planning that should start taking place now just to, because it's like, you know, parents are like, well, I want to have a yearbook for my kids, you know, those sorts of things. So I'm just kind of curious about like, what does that look like?
So typically it's happened in the communications class in high school. And we've never had many high schools have a whole separate yearbook program.
Mhm.
And students are in it year round. We haven't, well, maybe we did at one point here have that, but it hasn't been that way in a while. It's just happened in communications class. And we actually won't have that class next year. And so we are in conversation of where a yearbook is going to be placed and how we are going to make that work next year. We don't have an answer yet, but we are talking about that and planning for that.
How do other small schools do it?
I don't know.
It really happens one of two ways. It's either a class.
Yeah.
Or it's a coaching stipend paid for all the hours it takes. My wife was a yearbook coordinator, and I can tell you it can be hundreds of hours
Sure.
after school.
Sure.
Putting it all together and training the kids on how to do it and platform and all that. So it's not in our schedule C or D. I was just quick checking. So that tells me it's probably not been that way in Cook County in the past. Otherwise we would see it there.
Right.
So it's probably just been a class here for as long as.
Well, and not even a class, but within a
A
class.
piece of a class.
Well, right. And of course the challenge is like, you know, how there's only so many resources to go around, right? So many
So many
human
people.
hours, right, to put into things. So it's like, is there a way, I don't know if there's a creative solution, if there's a community collaboration or somehow that we can sort of
We're working on it.
to have a place for that to be owned, right?
Yes.
Because ultimately
Who's gonna own it?
it's gotta be owned by somebody
Correct.
to make it happen.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, well, cool. I know that it's, from what I've been kind of hearing is that, despite students may or may not see the value in it immediately, like families are like interested in that happening, you know, sort of commemorate. So, yeah. All right, cool. That's my question. Well, congratulations also on rounding out another school year.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Thank you. All right.
Keeping all your hair?
Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, 6.2, we have our student school board rep with us this evening, Tamoy Gray. Hello, Tamoy. Welcome. Good to see you. We'll go ahead and hand it over to you for what you've got for this month.
Great. So hello, everyone. I hope you guys are all having a good month. With the school year wrapping up, there have been a few things going on, so let's get into it. With the seniors' high school life coming to a close, they've been having a few activities to keep them occupied. They had their senior awards night, which Mr. Balanji spoke about, where students who were awarded scholarships were recognized, and then all the seniors were celebrated for the amazing work they put in this year. They also had their senior skip day, and they have senior breakfast and lunch at North Point after graduation practice on Friday. And then this Saturday at 1 p.m., our class of 2026 will be having its commencement ceremony, which most seniors are sad about, but are excited for this next chapter of their lives. So please come out and show our seniors some support as they embark on this new journey. The sports teams and different activities at Cook County are also having their seasons come to an end. The track team has its subsection meet today in Masabi East. We're hoping that we'll have a few qualifying members for sections and hopefully state. Some athletes have decided to shift their focus from track, but it has been a fun and exciting track season, and they're hopeful for next year. The baseball team also has its last game today, and it has been a challenging season for them, but they have persevered. The softball team had their last game last Thursday, and despite the ups and downs of the season, because of having a young team, they finished with 2 wins. The Ojibwe Bowl team also had a competition in International Falls on May 8th. They ended their competition placing 5th, competing against 9 to 17 other schools. The high school band also went to Valley Fair, which usually is an exciting experience for students, but it ended with some sicknesses. Most students on the trip caught norovirus due to the food they ate, but they're slowly recovering from their illnesses. Our Envirothon team went to state where they placed 4th. So good job to our Envirothon team and our Ojibwe Bowl team, who worked tirelessly despite their various commitments coming to an end. The National Honor Society joined with Unified Club and the PTA, tried to make teachers feel appreciated and let them know that the students at Cook County are grateful for them. So they went around with treats and placed smiles on the faces of teachers and administrators. In high school, there have been a few things. Last week was our Spirit Week, which we had our theme days, and the Pep Fest on Tuesday. The prom court, along with a few seniors, played some games. And to end our Spirit Week, we had prom on Saturday, May 15th. And the coordination had an amazing show of support from the community members. And we got to meet our prom king and queen for this year, Maya Rodriguez and Goshi Dimitrov, who are both honored to have this position. Prom was a fun experience. The junior class did an amazing job despite the minor setbacks they had with setup. And Friday before prom, however, AP testing began, and the reviews on the timing were unanimous, where most students felt like it was bad timing with prom, the wrapping up of sports season, and would have preferred if it had been the original date. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys.
That's a lot.
That is a lot. Yeah, that's what's that? May in a nutshell.
Yes.
Great. Well, thank you. And as they move their tassels this weekend, then you're going to become a senior.
Yes.
And what are you looking forward to, going into your senior year next year?
Well, next year I feel like I'm doing a lot more exciting classes, like not just the required classes, because I have more space for electives and stuff. So that's what I'm most excited about, just like doing different classes. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Well, congrats on finishing up the year, and thank you so much. Okay, 6.3 is the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a good news, bad news part to this report. The good news I'll lead off with is a thank you to Senator Grant Hauschild for championing the seasonal recreational aid bill that finally got across the finish line after 3 attempts in the legislature. This bill accomplishes something that I personally have been advocating for since I started in my previous district in 2013. The the bill to take cabins, seasonal recreational properties, and move them off of the local tax base for operating levies. That decision was made in 2003 at the end of Governor Ventura's tenure as governor in Minnesota. And what it did is it put them on the commercial tax base rules and took that funding and the funding that they would pay into an operating levy and sent it to St. Paul. And it's been that way since 2003. This bill, I want to make clear, and I want school board members to be very clear in case you get questions. This does not provide more money to Cook County schools. It simply takes the money that was taxed on those seasonal recreational properties and sent to St. Paul, and it basically sends the aid back to the school districts now, reducing our local people's share of the operating levy. Our operating levy is $800 a kid. The amount of money we collect hasn't changed. It won't change as a result of this bill, but your share of the pie to pay in will be reduced by the amount that's being reclaimed back to Cook County schools. So
So at the end of the day, it helps us pass future operating
Correct.
levies in the same way we
Correct.
pass capital
correct.
things, where we say we're sharing it with all these other people.
Correct. And if we do that and we do more in the future, everyone will pay into it essentially. Which has been true for a bond referendum, just not for an operating levy. So a very, very big success in the legislative session. That is kind of doused by the bad news. And the bad news is our health insurance rates are going to jump about 40% again in the year ahead, the premium fees, after a 30% hike just a year and a half ago. So we're jumping 70% in cost over a couple of years. So our insurance committee heard that news, is kind of working through now what conversations, looking at things like the ICRA plans that are a very different structure, anything we can come up with to try to reduce the cost. At the bottom line is the numbers are the numbers. The usage is higher than what we're collecting by significant amounts. So that pattern has not changed. And yeah, we just continue to really struggle with that. As a school district and as employees that are collectively sharing that burden. Tomorrow, Friday the 22nd, 2:00, we are having our groundbreaking ceremony. So people are welcome. It'll be brief. It'll be uplifting and fun. There'll be some treats and some water bottles and some gold shovels that we'll take pictures of for the newspaper. But the point is just to celebrate that this is getting started. And if you went to the backside of the building at all in the last couple of days, you will see that it is going. And the little kids think looking at big excavators is really fun when they come out to get in the school bus at the end of the day. So
Do we need to bring our own hard hats or?
we will provide all the PPE for the event. ICS will supply us with hard hats and vests and
Okay.
some shovels to throw dirt and that kind of stuff. So, and then last but not least, we will be rolling the vikingsvision.org website into a construction updates platform. Now that the referendums are behind us, construction has started. We'll be taking pictures and trying to keep the community up to date on what's going on and just celebrating the progress that's being made. That's all I got.
One question, were they able to include that one thing in the tax bill where we don't have to pay sales tax on the construction stuff?
The slate of sales tax requests were just not brought to the table at all.
They were, so
No.
we didn't get that in.
We did not, along with many, many other public entities. Yep.
But we could potentially try again next year because we're gonna continue.
We
like,
could.
So a lot
procurement.
of things being spent next year too.
We could. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that was disappointing. I mean, that could have been north of $600,000 reinvested back into our projects. So
So regarding the health insurance, I know you can do like PEEP or you can do like a co-op or you could, there's like, and then you have to commit to one of those routes for a year or two or something before you can change. If I'm recalling this right from what I learned about it, is that, I mean, I'm assuming you guys are kind of looking at those different like avenues as well.
yeah, so if you're in a employer group health insurance plan, which we are, then you have to go out for a hit a bid every 2 years,
Mhm.
which opens the door to all of those options, the co-ops, the PEEPs, the the other co-op, because there are numerous co-ops, right?
Right.
The ones that are running Blue Cross and ones that are running Medica and ones that are running Health Partners. So every 2 years, we have to do that as a group insurance provider. And that's to be compliant and to stay competitive. In our last HITA bill bid, we continued to stay with the Northeast Service Co-op, which is in their bidding process selected Medica as the provider. Correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, Teresa. So, they're bidding every so many years. We're bidding every 2 years. It's a continual process, and a lot of things go into whether people will even bid, right? Like our plan structures, our plan usage, whether we're a good employer or a good group essentially for their math. What we're learning about right now is that, and I wrote in my written report, is the ICRA plan strategy. That is brand new to us, which is different than what we've experienced in the past. That is where the employer would go out with a third-party vendor and we would determine the benefit to the employee, and then the employee could go out and select amongst numerous plans, kind of like being out self-insured, and what's best for them. And so a few districts in Minnesota have moved in that direction in the last I think it's only been around for a few years, right, Teresa?
Yeah, there was a
A law change. Yeah, so it's quite new. And our consultants are suggesting it because our renewals have been higher than everyone else. So
And that could basically result in people like they're kind of maybe shopping a plan sort of almost in the marketplace. So they would potentially have different premiums, like each individual person.
Correct.
Like right now it's all the same.
right.
But now each, like somebody's could be lower and somebody's could be higher potentially.
That's exactly correct. And so we would determine the employer benefit to the employee. And then as a matter of fact, they were talking about even, making a different benefit because it costs more as you get older.
Yeah.
On the individual market. So you get into this weird scenario where if you're 60 and you're teaching, you might be paying a lot more than someone who's 25 and healthy, right?
Right.
So all of that has to be added into the
Yeah, but
math.
sometimes those 25-year-olds are having kids, which
That too.
causes their costs to go up.
So we don't, this is brand new to us. We're all kind of like trying to learn about it. But the bottom line is we're all suffocating over, health costs going up. So, and it's not one employee group, it's all of our employees.
And I know that they started talking at the legislature about like a potential like public employee like health plan similar to like the state employees that could like co-opt this for like education.
Yeah, what passed in the legislature is the approval of some funding to do a study and collect the data on what that would look like across the state of Minnesota. So the study of it got approved.
Okay, sure. Okay, well, big stuff there. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so moving on to 7.0 is our consent agenda. If there's anything that needs to be pulled for further discussion, speak up now, otherwise we just need a motion to approve it.
I motion to approve.
And I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? All right, consent agenda is adopted. 8.0 are discussion and action items. 8.1 is to accept the expenditure and revenue report for April 2026. It is here in the packet, and we have our business manager, Mrs. Oberg, with us. Hello.
Hi. For April expenditure revenue report, we're at 83% of the year. I believe are tracking we're on track as far as our expenditures and our revenues. It starts to look a little uneven when you compare one fund to the other. So it's kind of best to look at it as a whole, as we get our revenues in for the end of the year because of the way the state distributes our funding. But I think that we're looking just fine for our landing pad. And as we move into May and June, I will be doing my where I spread the revenue, so a lot of it is sitting in the general fund one on the bottom line, whereas then I'll be spreading it to the transportation and fund four wherever it lands for its permanence, because when we get our taxes, we just throw it all into one lump spot until the end and distribute it. So that is where we're at in our year for our expense report. And I'm sorry I don't have anything additional after our conversation at the work session regarding the budget, but I will have more for you beginning June.
All right.
I'll make a motion to accept the expense report for April.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, 8.2, we've got a construction update from our partners at ICS, and we've got Jason Philippik on the line, our project manager. Hello, Jason, welcome.
Hi, good evening, Dan.
All right, well, what do we have this month?
Sure. I'm here today to present a construction update. We will review the budget, the playground, referendum 2 design development progress, and project updates and important dates going forward. Regarding the budget, the changes over the last month include a progress payment, which was pay application number 16. That was in the amount of $123,510.40. We have not had any change orders over the last month, so our budget remains the same here. Are there any questions on the budget?
Can't see it.
Oh, you can't see it?
No, nothing's changed.
Oh, sure.
It's fine.
Yeah.
That's, I had a hard time reading it too. That's why I added this little summary on the side, to be honest. Regarding the playground, so we went through a couple of revisions on this playground, and we feel like we're getting pretty close to being dialed in here. So the playground will include a new turf where there's currently grass. We will be resurfacing the basketball court with a new asphalt. And then the playground itself will have a new surface. And the surface will include an ADA pathway to all of the ADA equipment. So it will look something like this when we're done here, with a pathway to each individual piece. And here is the layout of your current playground. So all of the equipment that is currently installed will stay in its current place. And the new surface will be installed around the existing locations. We do have 2 new pieces of equipment that will be procured along with everything that's already in place. And we'll work with the playground manufacturer and Tom to determine where those are located. Are there any questions about the playground?
Just a point of information, the 2 new pieces of equipment and the turf were all part of the Lloyd K. Johnson Foundation donation.
Correct. An update on the referendum 2 design. So we have received our design development drawings from the architect and engineers. And here we have our athletic field. So I want to give you all an update as to what items have changed here. I'll zoom in a bit on the field. So the pole vault area was previously located near the bleachers here. That was removed at a discussion with the coaches. That particular event required a specialized coach and also special equipment, and it didn't seem like it fit the current program, so they elected to have that removed. We did include a larger storage shed with 3 bays in it to house the maintenance equipment, football and track equipment all separately. We did increase the size of this sidewalk pathway here. I think we wanted to place picnic tables here or have it more of a social area instead of solely for accessing the bleachers. Down in this corner here, so we are installing a new sidewalk right here to connect to the athletics entrance. We have our ticket booth here and then our combined concessions and restrooms. So all kind of centrally located here. We also have a ambulance approach here, separate from everything else so that access is easy during an emergency. We have our shot put over here by the propane tanks. And then we have our discus over here. And we have had further discussion on the discus and that really only one platform is needed for this area, and that a larger green space would be more beneficial to the school. So we will be removing the second one over here.
So there's some sort of like permanent installation there for the shot put and discus.
Correct. It's mostly the platform here, but I think this one actually has more of a gravel surface.
Per shot.
Yep. And this one here will just be the platform.
And they'll throw into the
Yep.
grass, so it'll still stay a multi-purpose.
Sure.
So Jason, I can't remember where we landed with solar panels, but weren't they out that area too?
They were, but they were removed in the value engineering for referendum 1.
Okay. The reason I couldn't remember, and I was thinking it would be a bad idea to have people throwing things around solar panels, so.
That would be a terrible idea, yeah.
It would have been tight.
And since we
Oh, the discus with that thing.
right. And since we moved away from the pole vault section and we're able to move that storage shed into that area, because I think before we had that sketched off kind of down on the eastern end of the field, is that right? Kind
Yeah, I
of.
think it was right over here.
Did that impact that little bit of green space down there? Does that sort of help us save a little bit of that, or is that not necessarily impacted? I mean, it is impacted.
Brings the fence over a little, or the wall over a little, save cost.
Yeah, okay.
Phil.
Yeah, right.
So is there a significant advantage with either cost or the storage shed to not having that pole vault? But, do we,
We save some money, I think.
I can't, because I just can't imagine it's that expensive to just continue the track service. I put in a little notch for pole vault, but I don't know.
Well, our coaches basically said it's never going to happen in Cook County.
Yeah,
It costs so much to operate and run and have specialized coaching, and they just basically said, we don't have that person and we're not going to find that person in Cook County.
And the poles are like hundreds of dollars per kid.
It can be thousands as they get older.
And but it doesn't like preempt. I mean, it doesn't preempt us from hosting like a regular track meet, right? Without that event, you just
Yeah.
couldn't have like one that was in.
So what April said is current practice, there are only a couple of facilities that have pole vault facilities
Mhm.
as a part of them. And so when other places host a meet, they just do the pole vault part a different day at a different location, kind of like a separate event. And then they count it in the scoring of the meet that was
Interesting.
put together. So pole vaulting only happens in like a couple different schools in the entire
So
Iron Range.
They do a different day too.
Sometimes.
Okay, because that's why, because I feel like a lot of pole vaulters are sprinters too, and
Right.
you have to be both.
Right. So yeah, she said that's what they already do in the conference. So it's current practice. And then, yes, we wouldn't be able to hold a section meet, but she said we wouldn't anyway, because we're so far off the central location that they wouldn't do it. They're gonna push you closer to what's central in the Arrowhead. Sure. We can hold regular meets.
I guess my only thought was, and I certainly would defer to April and everything, but my only thought was if we weren't gaining much from it and if we were saving a very small amount of money, it just seems like to do this big project and lose that possibility like forever into the future. But if we are saving money and for getting the storage shed, then it probably makes a lot of sense.
It does save money on fill and where that wall was slated to go. That's the big thing. And the storage shed is a little bigger than it was in a previous drawing, if I remember right.
Yeah. So I am right now working through the estimate on these drawings. So I'll be able to give you a better gauge as to where we are with the budget, in the next few weeks.
Cool.
I mean, is that sorry, Jason, is that something that you guys could potentially do, like roughly more or less? Come up with like an approximate cost difference between this configuration versus the previous one?
Yep, so that's part of the process here is that, we do validate the first set of drawings and the second set to really let you understand what the changes were and, what's really driving the new cost versus the old one.
Okay, sure. Great.
Some of the other features here. So we will be, retaining that hill. So this will be a nice place for people to sit with a blanket maybe and, still get that elevated view, but not necessarily have to sit on the bleachers.
So there won't be a fence along the sidewalk there, that widened sidewalk. It'll be just sort of open to that.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
The fence is kind of back here.
Yeah, cool.
Mhm.
And then down here we do have, that larger flat space where Dan can let his kids run around, right, Dan?
Thank you, Jason. Yes.
But
I
surely
will, for the first game, I'll come over there and help monitor those kids.
Shirley's corner. Dan's gonna volunteer to supervise it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys could just put like a statue there, a scarecrow.
I like,
So that's our athletics area. And then, some changes that I wanted to discuss with the group was the outdoor learning spaces. So both of these areas were a bit more expensive than we had money for in our budget the first round. And the landscape designer did, I feel like they kept the vision of the space really well, but they did reduce some of the scope. So previously we had 3 different learning areas in this sawtooth courtyard. We had one space over here, and then a second space over here with maybe a canopy. And then we have this space right here around the mosaic. So they simplified this quite a bit, but I still feel like it kept the vision of the space and also really kept with the needs of the school. Do you have any questions about the sawtooth courtyard? Should I zoom in a little bit here? Oops.
Yeah, that's for ADA compliance.
The ramp, I see.
Yep.
So the garden boxes will essentially remain the same. Yeah, we will be putting in a new pathway, and then we will have this amphitheater style seating here around the mosaic. Here at the front entrance, one of the main reductions in scope was changing the amphitheater seating here in the center to a flat surface. And I do believe that is going to bring this into alignment with the cost. But they did add these benches along the outside to add additional seating to the area. So they kept the seating, but it's just not in the same location as the previous design.
Where are the benches?
They're
Around the perimeter there, kind of.
yep, around the perimeter here, and then also under the canopy.
Oh, I see.
Those will be benches as well. The blue areas will be concrete, and then this will be a concrete pathway. Not as wide as a sidewalk, but more of a architectural feature. And then the green areas here in the middle will be grass. The grass surface will be level with the concrete, so it will be easy to maintain. Any questions about this?
Are the benches permanent?
That was a discussion we had at the POC meeting that, having those be mobile benches might be beneficial. So we haven't gotten that far into the design, but having them mobile, may help with maintenance, but also it might provide more opportunities for different type of social events in this area. So that's something we'll look at a bit further. But again, it still kept that same architectural features here. So I do really like the work that they came back with here. When we asked them to reduce the scope, but really provide something nice. So regarding next steps here, so I am working on the estimate for the documents I have, the new design, and that estimate will guide the final design decisions. So we are going to use that pricing to determine, hey, can we afford that pole vault piece here? Or would we like a different track surface? Or is there something else which really still needs to be refined a bit more? That estimate, along with the completed set of design documents, will be provided to the board at the June board meeting. So when we meet in June 18th, we'll be asking for approval on the design development documents so we can proceed with construction documents. Are there any questions on the next steps here? Regarding the project update, just as Chris had mentioned, activity is started. We do have our state permit, and the contractors are coordinating and getting their schedules in place. So we are operating full speed come June 1st. We did have a pre-construction meeting last week on Tuesday, May 12th, and there was a lot of turnout. Everybody that was going to be here starting in June was at that meeting. Currently, we are trenching in the back there for the electrical service and also the propane. And some excavation is ongoing. We're doing some potholing to test the soil. And we've also put in place a plan to relocate that freezer in the back there. So the freezer is empty, and we do have a plan to get that relocated in the next few days as well. Temporary fencing, so fencing to secure the construction area from students and staff is in place. And we also do have that erosion control in place around the building to protect the environment from any type of erosion. One of the main items coming up is the power outage. So on June 1st and 2nd, Monday and Tuesday, we will be transferring the power to the new electrical utility. And at that time, the power to the school will be disrupted. We are also installing the new propane line at that same time. So there will be a small disruption to the propane service as well. We don't anticipate either of those to take more than 1 day, but we are asking for 2 days just in case there are unforeseen conditions. Are there any questions about current activities? Okay. I think the last item here is the bridge. So one exciting thing that I've been working on here in Duluth is the project called the Duluth News Tribune. And the Duluth Public Schools has purchased the old Duluth News Tribune building, and they're turning it into more of a alternative education type of a facility, and also a space for all their support staff. That project is nearly completed. We finished that July 1st. During this renovation, we had to remove some timber from the floor structure, a very large amount of very, very old wood. This wood is about 100 years old, wood that you just really cannot find anywhere. And I was asking the facility manager, like, what are you going to do with this? They didn't really know what to do with it. And then I was walking the space with Damien a couple weeks later, and he said, wow, that wood would be perfect for that bridge we have to build. I met with the school and explained, like, hey, this wood would be perfect for this bridge. And they offered to have their students build the bridge for us. So they feel like this would really be a really cool way to collaborate. It'd be a great news story, and it would give everybody kind of, a stake in the success of this project. So I'm working with the Duluth schools, the structural engineer, to get the plans for these bridges put together, and it's going to be an ongoing process here, but I think it's going to be a really cool story when we're done. Any questions about the bridge?
They're finding us free wood and free labor.
Yep, that's awesome, Jason.
Is there anything else we can have them do?
Yeah, all right.
Well, they're
And-
probably going to want you guys to build them a bridge when we're done. But
And that's a bridge up in the school forest is where that would potentially be destined. Is that what we're talking about?
Correct. So with the location of the athletic field, we're disrupting one of the connections to the school forest.
Is that by the propane tanks, that spot? Or is
Uh,
Is it
that
this
over
one up
the?
here?
No, not the one by the,
East end of the field.
the east end of the field. We're
Okay.
basically blocking it with the new stadium.
Okay,
So we have to cut a whole new trail with a bridge
right.
to get in through the east side.
Will it be visible from, or you have to be kind of in the woods?
It
to
all
see it?
depends on what we do.
Yeah, I mean, if it's kind of this like statement piece bridge, it might be kind of cool if it was sort of visible.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it depends on where we put it. I mean, we have to engineer all that and figure all that out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's super cool, Jason. Thanks for looking at that. I mean, we love that kind of thing. So,
It's really going to be a cool story for the news because it's part of their old building, right? And then two different communities working together on this and the kids. I mean, this is going to be a great story when we're done here.
All right.
cool.
All right.
Well, thank you, sir.
Yep.
And,
Yeah, if there's no questions in the room there, I'll see you all tomorrow for the groundbreaking.
yeah, you can stop sharing and then we'll see you when you get here.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much, Jason, for the update.
Yep, thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, 8.3 is to approve our resolution to designate our Iowa, which is an annual thing. So we have a resolution in our packet here designating Superintendent Lindholm as our Iowa. Still trying to figure out how they can turn that acronym into a Minnesota.
I don't know. Not really, it's nothing that's jumping out there.
I can ask our senator to bring that legislation in the next session.
He'll be here tomorrow.
So yeah, this is an annual thing that we do, and it basically just boils down to who has access to the electronic, like MDE website, etc.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right, resolution is adopted. All right, so 8.4 is to approve a resolution for membership to the Minnesota State High School League for 26-27. A resolution here in our packet. Again, this is done annually.
Yep, we just update the names and it's all done electronically now. You approve it tonight and then I gotta do something and then Terry Jansen has to do something. Get it done, so through DocuSign.
A motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right, resolution is adopted. And 8.5 is our resolution to accept donations for May. And once again, we have significant donations coming in. Here from a few entities from the North Shore Collaborative and MT Bowls.
I'll make a motion to accept the donations as presented and with gratitude to the various donating entities.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Yes, thank you very, very much again. We need to like have a bell we ring for these every month or something.
Just for information, the lots grant that it was typically run by the library up until 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Money flowed to them and then they ran it. But last year and this year, Lacey has taken that on as part of our early childhood programming. So Lacey accepts the grant dollars and then uses them to buy the books and staff it and get it all put together. So
And do you guys know what that is? The LATS program? It's where they hand out books
to
to
kids.
kids for free
And it's kind of like
in the summer.
sort of a story time component to it.
And I know the North Shore Collaborative is really kind of a big
Funder.
big
Yeah,
funder
they're
of
the
it.
funder.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's all funder, yeah.
The funder, yeah,
they are the funder.
the funder. Yeah, no, that's awesome. All right, all those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? And resolution is adopted. All right. 9.0 are personnel items. 9.1 is our slate for May. New hires and resignations, etc.
A motion to accept.
And I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
57.
We're adjourned. 5:57. No, Eric.
You're waiting for a